Hi, everyone, and welcome. We're your host. I am Justin.
And I'm Challee.
This podcast is a space where we explore practical ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit to create a happier and healthier life.
The content of this podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional mental health advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Listening to this podcast does not establish a therapist-client relationship. If you are experiencing emotional distress or mental health concerns, please seek support from a licensed therapist or a qualified healthcare provider.
Today, we are going to be talking about how we got in the field and kind of why we're starting the podcast and why this is important to us.
All right, so I'll go first?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Challee, and I am a licensed master social worker, and I'm licensed in the state of New York to practice. And, okay, so my why story is...
I'm excited to hear this. I haven't heard this yet.
It's actually kind of twofold. Okay, so I have to go back in time a little bit. So I worked at an assisted living facility, and I was there for 13 years. Yeah, 13 years. I started when I was like 13 or 14.
Wow.
And I evolved, but one of my more recent roles before I transitioned away from that position was I ran the day program for people to come in for the day and hang out and then go home. And we specialized in caring for people with dementia. And then I loved it. That was my thing.
Really?
My thing. And then we also evolved. We got some grant money and we were able to offer caregiver support groups for caregivers of people with dementia. And it was the most enlightening thing, like so eye-opening what these caregivers go through. And so seeing that, a lot of times I should start by saying I had a bachelor's degree at this point. So I had a bachelor's in sociology. I'll go through all my educational stuff. It's fun.
So with those groups starting, was that the first time you kind of saw like what the home life looked like, those people caring for the individuals you were working with on a day-to-day?
Yeah.
Wow.
I hadn't really thought about it. I feel like
Right.
the care is so focused on the person with dementia. And I think this goes for a lot of things. Is you're so focused on the patient that you forget about the caregiver. And that has definitely, like, I think about that now in practice.
And it plays a role in like how they're showing up at your day program or at a therapy session of what's going on outside of that too. Because you have them for 8 hours or an hour or whatever that is.
Yep.
Wow.
So I hold an associate's degree in criminal justice. Okay. No idea why. It was a really fun major, guys. And then I got my bachelor's degree in sociology. And that's where I was at. So I was qualified to be a social worker in a nursing home. That was where that ended. But I would have these family members stop into my office and almost like, they would have like vent sessions. Yeah. And they felt comfortable doing that with me. And I just loved it. It was so rewarding. And that's why I was kind of like, I really like this. Like, I wasn't providing therapy, but it kind of felt like it. Yeah. So I was like, I kind of like this.
At least a resource for them.
But so that was onefold. That was why I chose the major that I did. However, on the other side, this was when my son was... God, he was 2 or 3. And I wanted to make sure I had job security because a bachelor's in sociology is great, but it's a tough job market. Like, it's tough. There's not job security. I wanted to have that attitude of I will never have to worry about having a job because now I have this little one to take care of. So now it's not just me. Like, I can live on ramen, I'm good. But now I have him. So if you ask Richard, my son, why I did what I did, he will tell you it's because of him. He's very proud.
As it should be.
He'll say, my mom went back to school because of me. And it's totally true. So went back to school because of him, focused on social work because of the field that I was already in.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was my why. Now I originally had gone because I'm like, I'm going to do geriatrics. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. And I loved it.
That's
So
very different than what you do now, though. So
that was
that's why I
my
made that face.
plan. I know. So as I was in school, I think it was like my last semester. I was in school and my son had some behavioral things going on, and everyone said, "Oh, you should get him a therapist. You should get him into therapy." And I'm like, "Great idea." Could not find anyone. And I'm like, I will take him out of school. I have a flexible schedule, so it doesn't have to be after school. It can be on literally any day or time. Somebody just see my kid. And there was no one. Like, it was so hard to find a therapist because I think at that point he was like 4.
Okay.
Could not find a therapist that would see him. So I was like, this is wild. And like, I have good like connections in the community, and I had to pull all my connections to be able to like get him on a wait list.
In thinking about that, if you're experiencing that with some of the different resources you have, I'm sure there's other people that are then experiencing that.
Yes, that's what got to me is I'm like, this is just wild. So I had sworn up and down I was not going to work with kids. I had never worked with kids. So I was like, that's the one population I just don't think I would work with. And then I shifted when this all happened. And I'm like, you know what? We need more therapists for little ones. I'm going to give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? I don't like it. And then I switched to a different population.
Yeah.
So before I was done with graduate school, started the process of getting my school social work certification.
Okay.
So I also hold a New York State school social work certification as well. And then as soon as I graduated and got licensed, I actually got right in with a school. And I was very open in my interview. And I'm like, I've never done this before. I'm newly licensed. I've never worked with kids. I don't know what I'm doing, but I am a sponge and I'm ready to learn. And they were like, cool, we'll take you. And it was the best experience ever. Wow. And that after a couple months of that, I was like, this is my thing. Like, oh my goodness, these kids were so comfortable coming to talk to me. And I just felt like I was really making a difference. So I was like, no, this is it. This is my niche. So yes, I see clients of all ages, but I do start as young as 4 all the way up through the ages. Yeah, I focus a lot on trauma therapy with kids, which is very sad and rewarding at the same time.
Why not younger than 4?
It's case by case.
Oh, okay.
It's case by case. Like pretty much with all clients, though, you have to gauge whether or not they're appropriate for therapy services. That makes sense. So I assess the same way I would with like any client, because a client comes in and they might not be appropriate for an outpatient therapy setting. So it's the same with little ones. I think I might have had like a 3-year-old that was turning 4 that was like very advanced. Kids can absolutely see somebody even younger than 4.
Right.
I have some training in play therapy. Love it. I'm not a registered play therapist. I don't claim to be. So in that instance, it would probably be more beneficial to go that route with like a registered, because that's what they do is, but so I usually stick to 4. It's not a hard number though.
I feel like that's kind of similar in this field. Like there's no like hard and fast no's to most things. I was just curious because that's, I mean, as you know, and we'll learn more, like children were so far out of what I had ever worked with. So I was just curious of like why specifically 4, if there was like a reason for that beyond just like what they're able to do within the session. Okay.
So this is a good transition.
Yeah.
So now you can talk about you, and you can mention how we know each other.
Okay.
Because I think that's a fun topic too.
So with me, I have worked in mental health for a little while. I specifically started in substance use. I originally started school for business marketing. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I took some accounting classes. I can understand like money, but like math beyond that is not in my wheelhouse. I did not do well in business marketing. I wasn't doing well in classes, and I just had no interest in it. So I kind of ended up just getting an associate's degree in general studies because I just wanted to finish that and move on with something that was a little bit more specific. And so then I went for my bachelor's degree in community and behavioral health, in which it's such a cool degree. But in New York, there has to be licensure attached to be able to bill for insurance or different things like that. So it was tough finding kind of a similar situation with you of like having the bachelor's degree that wasn't attached to like a license, being able to have it be sustainable long term. There was really limited possibilities of doing that. And then with changes happening, it puts that in jeopardy.
No, some states do offer, if you have a bachelor's in social work, they do offer licensure. Not in New York.
Okay. Okay. And mine was not in social work. It was it was really interesting, but it didn't really touch on like the counseling piece. It was more of, I think it was more of like academic based and a lot of like heavy research, which was really good. But I lacked, when I got into my first job in substance use, I lacked like the counseling piece of it. I was like, oh, I don't know how to run a session. I don't know how to run a group. So I had worked in substance use for a while. I got into it because I had some lived experience with family, and it was something that was really near and dear to my heart. I had some family members that have dealt with addiction, and it was something that I was pretty passionate about because I wanted, it's a pretty hopeless field at times if, there tends to be a lack of progress. It's a little bit slower, and it was something that I was pretty passionate about, and I thought I could at least show up and make a difference for the time that I was there. The side note, Challee and I know each other because she had worked with my sister, and then now
we're going way back.
We're going way back.
Okay, so 8.5 years ago, I started working with your sister.
Yeah. As of today, we've been friends on Facebook for 8 years.
Yes, today's our friendiversary, even though we were friends on Facebook, but I really did not ever speak to you until you reached out about interning.
I was coming up on my like final year in school for social work, for a master's in social work, and I had reached out because we were friends on Facebook, and I knew that she had worked at a practice. I wanted to know kind of what else was out there. And then this ended up turning into me doing my internship with Challee and the wonderful team.
You were so surprised.
Shocked.
That you could do an internship at a private practice.
Shocked.
And I'm like, yes, man, come on over.
And that had really been some grounds for exploring a lot of different things for me because I'd only ever worked in substance use. I had worked in restaurants, I mean, like way before, worked in restaurants and then went right into substance use, but had no other exposure.
Can I ask a question before you go further about the substance use piece? So I also have family members who struggle with addiction, and because of that, I have said, like, I can't do substance counseling. I will gladly take a client with an addiction, but I will focus on the mental health aspect, but I can't do the substance use aspect. It's just too personal and close. So how did you do that? I guess I'm asking. Like, didn't it, I don't know, wasn't it triggering or?
At times, yes. I jumped into it and had no boundaries initially. Like, I started working in substance use at 2021, somewhere right around that, and I worked in an inpatient unit. And I had no boundaries. I didn't really know what I was getting into, and it was really not good for me initially. I took it home with me all the time. I was just always concerned that I wouldn't be able to handle it or that I wasn't doing a good enough job. So I had a lot of like really self-defeating pieces of it. I think when it came to like potentially like having those triggers, it was something that I didn't, at that point in time, didn't realize that it was something that was to be avoided. I thought it was just kind of, well, like, you're in the field, you just have to deal with this. This is going to show up. But it was something that I had passion for. So I thought it was just kind of like a tough it out type of situation. So there had been times that it did get really triggering, and that was kind of why I had to take a step back for a little bit and decided that I needed to go and work at a outpatient clinic rather than inpatient because it was too close to home for me. It was tough at times to separate it, but I think it was just being able to get more comfortable and doing like the internal work with myself of
Yeah.
like developing those boundaries because I lacked boundaries. It showed me that I lacked boundaries in a lot of areas,
I think
not just that.
boundaries is going to be a whole episode. We're going to
It's
do
gonna be a
a
great
whole
episode.
episode just on how to set boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
We could do like how to set boundaries in personal and professional life.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we got another topic, so you have to come back. All right, so anywho, okay, so yes, you reached out.
I reached out.
And I said, what populations do you want to work with? And I don't remember what you said, but I was like,
it was not kids.
That's what we're doing, Justin.
It was probably the farthest from kids. I was like, I can do like middle-aged adults. I'm great with that. I can handle that. I didn't think like my self-esteem could handle working with kids because they're so honest. And it's wonderful, but like I didn't think I could handle. I didn't think they'd like me. It was a lot of internal doubt of why I never wanted to work with kids, but it's now, kind of fast forwarding a little bit, it was a lengthy time of like setting up the internship to then finally getting there. And it was worth every step, which was awesome. But it has been like truly life changing doing my internship just in a different setting. Because I've only worked in clinics before. I've only been with substance use. So that being said, there's limitations on what we can do. And that was my big push of going to school to become a social worker is because I think in substance use, we need more of the mental health piece. It goes hand in hand. With substance use, it's many times just focusing on the substance use and the impact that is having. But substance use really does cover the person's entire life and the family that goes along with it.
Yes.
It's a family disease.
It is. I have a lot of kiddos and family members of it definitely impact. I mean, I can speak for myself. It impacts the entire family.
And I think I had worked with the adults and I was also like scared to work with kids because I was like, oh, I know how to work with adults. I know how to have the conversation with an adult. And those were skills that I had worked on kind of throughout the years of being in substance use. And then starting my internship, finding out I was going to be doing it with kids, was wonderful. Really scary at first because I had no clue what I was going to do.
Out of his mind.
Yeah,
he was. It was. I don't want to say it was hilarious, but only because I could see that you were going to be great, and so
I did not.
I did.
Oh, I thought I was gonna like crash and burn.
And I know because the first day, I think you asked me like 37 times, like, am I doing this right? Should I be doing more? Should I be talking more? Should I be? And I'm like, no, like you're a natural. And I gave you like a little bit of critiques with like specifics, but
it's also such a change from like working with adults in substance use with it being so structured and everything having to be documented such a specific way and like showing like this is exactly how this specific thing impacted the goal to then working with kids and I'm like, oh, we're just kind of playing a game. We're playing in a sandbox. And it was just so different in terms of structure for me that I just like didn't think I was doing it right. But with starting doing the internship, it allowed me to like really have some like to put myself first in terms of my healing that I didn't even realize like needed to happen. But it was so like it's so cliche of saying like working with kids heals your inner child.
I was just gonna say that. I'm like, oh, you healed your inner child.
It did, and it was life changing because I didn't know what experiences had impacted me. I didn't know how experiences from childhood. I've been in school and knew like the developmental stuff, but like really seeing it in real life of like how something so small can have a larger impact moving forward. And then it allowed me to stop kind of beating myself up of the things that I thought I was doing wrong or like my internal thought to be able to be like, wow, okay, I don't have to have this pressure.
It makes me stop and think like when I was a child, I definitely could have benefited from having a safe person to talk to. And it is very rewarding to get to be that person for these kids. Like I am the person that I never had, and that really is the rewarding part is just being able to do that.
I remember being at the CAC and a kid had spilled glitter and I had like a physical reaction because I didn't think it was okay. I was like, there's not going to be enough glitter for other kids. This is going to be a huge mess. And Challee, like, put her head, she was like, no, it's okay. It's good. It's just glitter. And I was like, whoa. And that was the point in time that I realized, like, oh, wow, this is a safe space. Like, this is truly what that safe space means for these kids. That they can show up and they can be and they can take up the space and it be okay. They can spill glitter and it not be, treated as the house is burning down. So that was really...
Just don't take the sand out of my sandbox. No, I'm just kidding. No. But I get it because your initial reaction is panic. But I feel like that, I mean, I can't speak for your childhood, but like it goes back to my childhood. Like sometimes it felt like you weren't allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And I see that with my own son too. Like he was getting a drink or something and he dropped the glass and he broke it. And I immediately was like, don't move. And he felt so terrible. He was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you're not in trouble, but please don't move because I don't want to pick glass out of the bottom of your foot.
Right.
But just to have that like calm, safe space for him where he was like, he felt that panic. And then I was like, no, dude, it's no big deal. And then I cleaned it up and he felt so bad. It was like a Walmart glass. Okay. It wasn't like some like
China.
super meaning. Yeah. It wasn't like some super meaningful thing, but even if it was, it would have been like, I have to stop and remember, like, I've broken a glass. So,
and that kind of gets into that like attachment piece, and that was where I think some of where I had that physical reaction at the CAC with the kid was like, is there not going to be enough for other kids, or what is that going to look like? And yeah, like that sense of panic had just initially set it. Yeah,
I could see it on your face. That's why I was like, it's all right, it's okay, because I've been there. I have the little containers of Play-Doh, and the first time a kid mixed my Play-Doh, I felt some feelings. I was like, oh my gosh, because you can't mix Play-Doh. You can't mix the what? Right. I was like, I really, this sounds so silly, but like I had to take a step back and be like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Next kid will mix it into a different color. Like, it's fine. Totally fine.
And like that kind of goes back to like that old statement of like crying over spilled milk. Like there are real situations where that can really show up, and it's really simple. It's fixable. It's able to be cleaned up, whatever it is. But it can be scary in that moment. And then when, especially as a kid, like you have reactions that then instills that's danger rather than it being something simple. Where the situation with Richard was, yeah, there was some danger there of the glass, but it wasn't that it had fallen. It was the safety in that moment.
Right, but I feel like if I had reacted abrasively, he would have panicked and ran.
Yep.
He would have ran. And then not only would I be picking little things of glass out of his feet, but I'd be like vacuuming the whole house because he ran through the house. So that initial like hearing that crash was a little like triggering because it was like, oh God, like the house is burning down. Yeah. And it's like, nope, my kid just broke a glass. And so keeping that calmness of like, please don't move. You're fine. Don't move. You're not in trouble. I'm coming over there so I can help you. And just kind of keeping him like I had to, like I threw my flip-flops on and I went over and I was like, I'm going to pick you up because I have shoes on and you don't. And just kind of letting him know like, it's okay.
Yeah. So with my journey, how I wanted to become a social worker was definitely like wanting to make a difference. And it started in substance use, and there's so much difference to be made still. And it's such a rewarding field, but being able to have some different exposure with like different populations, different age groups, oh my goodness, I was like petrified of working with kids, and now I've really come to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Which some people had told me that I was going to. I was like, there's not a chance. There's no way. But so the journey continues. I get to finish school in December, and then I'll get to have a little bit more to be able to do.
This man is going to graduate in December and be licensed by January. So we will be back here.
Celebrating that?
Yes. Oh my God, we'll have a cake and everything.
We call it hats.
Yes, hats. But we can talk about test prepping too for other therapists.
Yeah.
Other interns that are listening too, and other therapists, because I will also be sitting for my
You have
clinical
that coming up, right?
in May, so I got a little bit of time, but still,
soon enough. It's going to come up quick. Okay. All
right, guys, so we're going to wrap this up for today, but wherever you are watching or listening, if you have any questions or suggestions for topics or anything at all, just leave a comment and let us know. Anything else you want us to talk about? Otherwise, we will see you next time.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining.
Bye.
Bye.